I am a British man. Note the bowler hat, stiff upper lip, and general air of superiority. This is what it means to be British. I have a monocle, a pocket watch, and an unearned authority. This is what it means to be British. I do not complain, I do not chastise, and more importantly, I actually do both of those things in private, yet also to anyone who will listen. This is what it means to be British. Though it was not always this way. You see, Britain was first invented when the powers that be decided we needed somewhere to keep the terrible weather. Thus came a fall of heavy rain, which provided the otherwise barren landscape with enough moisture and nutrients for the growth of Britain's first crop, the telephone box. Bright red in nature, the earliest Brits knew these plants were poisonous to their frail forms and should instead be used as ports of communication to those in other parts of the land in order to let them know just how much more British they were than them. Of course, with such a bountiful harvest, other life was sure to evolve. The bus. A double-decker, in this case the strongest of its kind. For centuries, the buses roamed unhindered, feasting off of the fat of the land, completely immune to the catalogue of verbal attacks from the early Brits, featuring such classics as, "Oh, late again, who do they think they are, and what an absolute shambles." And so the bus, after tasting human flesh, to this day remains an apex predator throughout the Isle. The early Brits, needing a place of safety in which to drink and make merry, created a haven of bricks and mortar. Early scriptures show the original name for such an establishment was public house, which was eventually shortened to pub, due to an overindulgence of fermented vegetable juice used exclusively to reach advanced states of unconsciousness. Never discouraged by the rain, the early Brit then founded tight-knit communities based on fear, melancholy, and casual alcoholism. And so the seeds of a primitive civilization were sown, a civilization that would spread throughout the world, until one day a new resource was discovered, the humble cup of tea. Though unassuming in nature and non-threatening in appearance, the cup of tea became the driving force of some of the greatest revolutions in recorded history. The American Revolution, for instance, was a simple competition between Britain and the United States as to who could make the worst brew, with America winning by throwing their tea in a harbour, resulting in a world record for the weakest cup of tea ever made. The French Revolution would never have happened if it weren't for Britons sharing their supply of stale biscuits which were used to cut off the heads of various aristocrats. And of course, the Scottish War of Independence began over an argument between King Edward III and William Wallace as to the correct way of making a cup of tea, with Edward saying the hot water should go in first, to be followed by the milk, and Wallace stating the milk should go in first, followed by the hot water. Though the war may now be over, 676 years later, the argument still rages on, with the buses roaming wild in the streets and the ever-present danger of a light scuffle over the correct method of making a refreshing warm beverage. The British needed a saviour, nay, a protector, and so they created the Queen. A deity to watch over the common and higher classes alike. All-powerful and nigh on immortal, the Queen to this day makes sure to have tea and crumpets with each of her subjects before patrolling the realm in search of anyone who can best her in combat. She remains undefeated, prompting some of the best scientists in the world to add her to the periodic table, though not to be confused with the other Queen, as Mercury is a very different element. And so we live on our modest little island, in constant fear of our natural predators and silently judging the rest of the world while drinking cheap beer in the pouring rain. This is what it means to be British.